Now at 7 o'clock, a former Alaska Airlines pilot is set for sentencing today after he admitted trying to shut off the engines of a plane filled with passengers in the middle of a flight. We're going to have a live report on this case coming up in our top story. Plus,
trying to get a 6,000-pound animal off of the beach is quite an undertaking.
Volunteers left scrambling for options after a 6,000-pound humpback whale beaches itself on the coast in Yaha. It's why experts say the most heartbreaking decision, maybe the only one left. And
I think all of us here remember that video. Some of you may remember it too. It happened a year ago. A bomb cyclone hitting parts of western Washington and ripping through that home we just saw north of Seattle. We'll take a look back at the impact of that storm. Of course, Rod Hill also on board with a look at this week's local forecast. The 7 o'clock hour of sunrise starts right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. You know, as we bring Chris and Rod into the mix, it was a great weekend to watch some football because the weather wasn't always terrific. Your football team, I saw, did well. UNLV won.
UNLV won, double overtime.
Chris and I, big Eagles fans. Big win last night right here on KGW. The Eagles beating the Lions. Rod, how'd the Chiefs do?
Chiefs did horrible, but we're horrible. We're not a good football team. But my Missouri Tigers just wiped the mat with the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
All right, you had something to root for then this weekend. Something positive.
Wasn't a complete loss. All right, here we go. We've got the big story right now is that the rain that started yesterday morning is starting to break up. You're looking at the green areas moving south to north, and you can see the breakup more vividly if I just show you the radar, and here it is. Now, again, it's tough to tell how long we could have at least some patchy, really light stuff like mist or drizzle out there, but watch it over the last hour really just start to go away. So it could be dry where you are right now after just steady rain for hours. Here's the Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront. You can see all the low cloud cover that I'm talking about. Currently reported as dry, 48 degrees. There are the clouds over the winery out the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. And they're saying right now they're dry as well, 48. So we've had raining on the bus stop graphic, and there are still light rain showers. Clearly everything on the ground is really wet. But moving forward, drying out, all dry at noon, and then eventually we'll look for some sun breaks and about 53. So it turns out to be a pretty nice Monday, Chris.
Yeah, a little bit of water on the roads, though, for sure. Probably not helping things out there. We do have a little fender bender right now on the Gleason on-ramp to I-205 North. You can see tow truck out there getting ready to get that clear. Portland Police as well. Cars are getting around it, but one trouble spot out there anyway. Elsewhere, the drive definitely getting busier now that we're into the 7 o'clock hour. There's the I-5 stop and go action right now at the Interstate Bridge. Quick look at your drive times right now. Building on I-84 now. That's up to 24 minutes to get you in from Troutdale. And last but not least, again, that I-5 South commute hovering between 18 and 20 minutes now to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. China?
Thank you, Chris. A former Alaska Airlines pilot is expected to be sentenced in federal court this morning after he tried to cut a plane's engines mid-flight.
The plane made an emergency landing here in Portland. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live downtown outside the federal courthouse with the latest on this case. Thomas?
Hey, good morning, guys. And yeah, we got to go back all the way to October of 2023 when Joseph Emerson tried to cut the engines to that flight. Emerson was an off-duty pilot flying cockpit. At the time, he told police that he hadn't slept in more than 40 hours, had taken psilocybin mushrooms, and was, quote, not okay. Emerson also said that he pulled the handles which would have shut down the engines to the flight in hopes of waking himself up from what he thought was a bad dream. Fortunately, he was restrained by the crew, and the plane, which was meant to go to San Francisco, instead diverted to Portland, landing safely. Emerson faces a federal felony charge for interfering with flight crew members 2 months ago in a hearing for a different case where Emerson was charged with recklessly endangering 84 people's lives. He said he was deeply sorry for what he did.
I regret the harm that I caused. I regret the harm I caused to every single person on board that airplane, crew members and guests. I regret the harm I caused to society.
Emerson told authorities that he had been a pilot since 2001, and today here at the federal courthouse in downtown Portland, he could face up to 20 years in prison for his actions. Drew, China.
Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in downtown Portland. Meanwhile, the man convicted of stabbing and killing an off-duty mail carrier last year in Clackamas will be sentenced later this morning. A jury found 53-year-old Chad Westover guilty of second-degree murder. In September of last year, he used a kitchen knife in the deadly stabbing of Tristan Thomas during a fight at an apartment complex on Southeast Sunnyside Road. Westover sentencing is set for this morning at 9 o'clock.
Police are investigating a shooting that killed one person and left 2 others hurt. It happened around 6:30 Sunday morning in a home near Southeast 125th and Division. Inside, they found 3 people with gunshot wounds and another person with minor injuries. One of their shooting victims died from the injuries at the hospital. No one has been arrested. Anyone with information is asked to reach out to police.
The body of a local hunter who went missing at the end of last month in the Mount Hood National Forest has likely been recovered. That's according to the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. 51-year-old Devin Dobeck of Hubbard was reported missing on October 31st after he failed to come home from a hunting trip about 20 miles southeast of Estacada. The Sheriff's Office says search and rescue teams recovered a body in the forest yesterday at the base of a cliff near the Fish Creek trailhead. The medical examiner's office is working to confirm if it's Dobeck.
Meantime, community members gathered outside a local business to remember a man who died on the job. Jason Hay had only been working at Bins and Barrels Liquor for about a year when he suffered a heart attack at the store near the end of October. A person saw this happening behind the counter, and rather than calling for help, he and a woman were caught on camera stealing money from the store. He was taken to the ICU but later died. His sister told us that it was heartwarming to hear stories about how he impacted people's lives.
Jason made a point to know everybody by name, not just at work, but everywhere. The grocery store, the post office, gas station, the mechanics next door. He touched everybody every single day, whether it was coming to work or walking his dogs.
The suspects have not been found.
All right, this next story is happening along the Oregon coast. You see a dead whale there. It's the first time since 2018 that a whale has washed up on shore alive on the Oregon coast. This happened in Yachats on Saturday. Jason Hay had only been working at Bins and pardon me, that's a reference to the last story. Again, this whale washed up on the coast Saturday, right near Yachats, and right now they're trying to figure out what's the best course of action for this whale. They determined that because of how large it is, it's too big for a helicopter to come in and pick it up. So they're thinking that euthanasia may be the only course of action.
The best option that any animal has is being able to self-rescue. And we've had the high tide come in. The animal was unable to do that at this point. So we're looking at potential other interventions.
Again, we'll be following the story today to see what they determine to do with that whale.
Your time now is 7:07. We're taking a live look from our Salem Skycam as we bring in Rod Hill to talk about that dreary weather out there.
Yeah, it is breaking up though. We've seen that in the last hour. You can really see it here on the radar behind me. You know, we lost our surplus, all the wet weather going back to the first of the month, and we had a lot of dry time last week. We lost the surplus. We picked up around 1/2 inch of rain on average up and down the valley from what started yesterday morning and is now starting to wrap up, which has us right smack dab normal, approaching 3 inches for the date for the month of November. But again, look at everything starting to fall apart. So this will be a day with drying weather taking hold. It has been just rain up at Timberline Lodge, so the passes are just wet. You can see again, there's no snow on the ground other than some piles that were shoveled around. 38 degrees up at the lodge this morning. Here's a wet look at Providence Park. We are now starting to get dry observations mixed in with light showers out there. 45 degrees is the number. Temperatures have cooled somewhat, but still considered pretty comfy for this time of the year. 49 in Troutdale, 46 in Oregon City and Sandy. Dallas, good morning. You share the same 48 degrees with Aurora and also Salem. So with the rain now starting to break up, we will become dry, it looks like, during the morning hours completely. And then this afternoon, look for some partial clearing. Tough to tell how a bit of a gradual process that will or will not be. But this does show the potential of sun breaks and dry weather at 3 o'clock today, with temperatures statewide pretty much somewhere between 50 and 55. We've got Portland at 53 with the moisture starting to break up and end this morning. Mainly dry tomorrow, all dry on Wednesday. And we get into some chilly nights. Notice Wednesday morning, 38 degrees. Could be close to freezing in parts of the valley. Rain showers return Wednesday night into Friday. And here's Chris.
All right, Rod, thank you for that. Let's get you back over to the west side here. We've got a crash right now out on 99W in King City. This is near Durham Road. Right now, it looks like it's in the median, but maybe one southbound lane impacted with that. So just be on the lookout for the emergency response out there. Elsewhere on the freeway system, after kind of a soaker of an early morning commute, as Rod mentioned, the rain lightening up a little bit, so that's helpful. That said, the drive is getting busier. There's your I-5 commute from Wilsonville. On the other side of town, it's just shy of 20 minutes now to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. A reminder, tonight is the second in a series of closures of I-5 south of town. From the Markham Bridge down to Terwilliger, ODOT continuing to do those sign bridge installations for their variable advisory speed signs. And so to do that, tonight the freeway will be closed completely, both directions from 11 to 5. The detour around that during the closure, Barber Boulevard. So just know that if you're out on the roads late tonight or very early tomorrow morning. China.
Thank you, Chris. It has been 1 year since a massive bomb cyclone tore through the Pacific Northwest and left parts of western Washington in shambles. Coming up next, we take a look back at the historic storm and its impact on the region. Don't go anywhere. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
It was a year ago this week that a bomb cyclone tore through parts of western Washington.
Jake Wittenberg with our sister station Seattle takes a look back at that powerful storm that killed several people and left many others devastated.
With every mile it passed over the Pacific, the radar signaled a warning about a storm of historic proportion. The physics was terrifying. A record-tying drop in atmospheric pressure essentially created a massive vacuum, then a swirling storm that underwent bombogenesis, creating what's known as a bomb cyclone.
Here's the culprit. This storm system sitting off the coast looks remarkably like a hurricane.
King 5 meteorologists warned of damaging winds. And by nightfall on November 19th, those warnings became reality.
Uh-oh, did you notice that? We just lost power. The street light just went out.
The strongest hurricane-force gusts ripped through western Washington, hitting East King County the hardest, uprooting trees, sending debris flying. In Seattle, a Metro bus took a direct hit.
I heard a big crack and a boom. It happened really quickly.
Across the region, disaster struck. All many could do was hunker down for the night and wait out the storm in the darkness. Not even our mountain passes were spared, with a rare blizzard warning also in effect.
Blowing snow is the big concern out here, creating those visibility issues.
It was a long night. At dawn, the scope of the damage was coming into focus. I was shocked to see so many power outages.
But look at all the east side red here, all of those spots marking a substation or a power outage of some kind.
Puget Sound Energy estimates 400 miles of its transmission lines were tangled or destroyed in the winds. Utility crews across the region scrambled to keep up, and in many cases it was still too dangerous to be working. At the height of the storm, nearly 1 million homes and businesses were without electricity, and it was clear some would be without power for days or weeks.
But I did not expect this level of disaster.
Countless buildings were damaged or destroyed, including this century-old church in Hoquiam.
This is a miracle in the sense that no one got injured.
We also learned of the storm's first victims. In Linwood, a woman in her 50s seeking refuge in a homeless encampment was tragically killed by a falling tree.
Oh my God.
And in Bellevue's Bridal Trails neighborhood, a crashing tree killed a 65-year-old woman in her home. And in the days that followed, the cleanup.
We were very fortunate how and where it fell on that corner.
Neighborhood after neighborhood was buried in trees and branches.
And now the wind and the storm is continuing and coming back around, so it's adding to the mess.
And neighbors without electricity were left leaning on each other, waiting for hundreds of utility crews to try and recover the power.
We have a neighborhood here that we'll look out for each other, and we'll get through this.
Our King 5 cameras captured incredible damage and close calls. In Kingston, a 275-foot tree made easy work of this family home.
So this is the kitchen.
The destruction was just staggering. As far back as records go, a cyclone as strong as the 2024 bomb cyclone is the strongest ever to hit in the month of November.
There's no words to explain how we feel.
Reminding us all about the overwhelming power of nature anytime, anywhere. Jake Wittenberg, King 5 News.
I want to say it was at least a week and a half, like 10 days, that this was a major headline here in the West Coast as we started to identify this big storm. And it was pretty consistent. Matt talked about it, and of course myself, that it was going to be offshore just enough that we didn't think we'd get wind. The only wind we really got in the valley on the 19th and the 20th of November last year was an east wind. It was gusting into the 40s. And I think on the 19th we had a wind advisory because of that. Now up around Astoria they had 70+ mile per hour winds, and those winds are even higher than that as they swept inland up through Seattle and the Puget Sound. We dodged a bullet here locally. I mean, the devastation on that story from King TV, really something, up our neighboring city to the north. Well, here we go. We have rain amounts since it started yesterday. Pretty good soak, finally. Remember all the rain chances that kind of turned out to be next to nothing or completely nothing last week? Over the weekend, Friday, we said Saturday looks pretty good. If we're going to have a rain out of a day, I actually said Sunday afternoon. Turned out to be kind of Sunday all day yesterday into this morning. 62/100 in Eugene, Salem over half of an inch. PDX so far just shy at 42/100. About the same in Kelso and Vancouver. Pretty widespread reaching rainfall. Spokane 35/100, and Pullman out in Cougar Country 39/100 of an inch. All of that rain is now starting to fizzle and break up. There is a dry break. We have a dry forecast this afternoon, a mainly dry forecast tomorrow and Wednesday. So we got some calm weather coming. Another soak every day down in California where they've had some flooding issues going all the way back to heavy rains at times. It started in various areas of the state Thursday of last week. For us though, watch it all disappear. Moving south to north, really a rapid breakup of rain activity at this point. Tough to tell. See, look how steady it was just a couple hours ago, and this is what we have currently going on. Yeah, a lot of us now seeing dry weather. Futurecast showing 9 o'clock this morning, we're all dry. Tough to tell if we have some lingering mist into the late morning hours from the low cloud deck that's out there, at least patchy light stuff. Also tough to tell exactly how much sun and how long it takes to break out of all these low clouds. Futurecast is probably right that you folks at the beach will have some sunshine before the noon hour and go on to have some really nice weather. But here's a look at the low cloudiness I'm talking about that we got to break up and get out of here. Here's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha, 49 degrees, reporting dry weather. And there's looking at the Tilcomb Crossing and the Markham Bridge and the Marina Place down on the Willamette River from the top of the Wells Fargo building. 49 is the number, very comfortable. We have generally a northwest breeze that's somewhat noticeable outside. And we have temperatures pretty much in the 40s statewide at this hour. Our valley forecast for today, low 50s. We don't expect the temperature to do much today. Mainly dry before noon. Yeah, that's certainly on target. And then some partial clearing this afternoon. Notice the 30s tonight. I think that's the overwhelming headline. Now that the rain is breaking up, we're going to look to the new weather story, which is a return to chilly nights. Could be 30s for some of you overnight tonight. And by Wednesday morning, we could have parts of the Willamette Valley potentially flirting with the 32-degree mark. You folks that are often in kind of a cold spot. McMinnville, good morning to you, for example. All right, here's the 7-day. 53 today, becoming dry, mainly dry tomorrow, all dry Wednesday. I've got Portland Wednesday morning at 38 degrees. Showers return to Wednesday overnight, Thursday into Friday. The forecast, because it's a weak pattern, is still not locked in with confidence, but right now there's reason to believe the upcoming weekend could be dry. And here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert on the west side in the Vista Ridge Tunnel. We'll take you there. Eastbound Highway 26, a couple of cars tangled up in a fender bender now, and it looks like the eastbound right lane is blocked. You can see ODOT there with their incident response team. So everybody getting over to the center in the left lane, and traffic is, as expected, stacking up quickly here back through the tunnel and really all the way out to the Sylvan Hills. So give yourself a few extra minutes getting in from the west side right now. You can see all the brake lights lit up there. The drive in right now from Hillsborough has jumped up to 27 minutes at last check. Elsewhere, the drive through North Portland also a little slow. There you are up near the Expo Center, the I-5 southbound commute, of course. Right now that's puttering along at about 20 minutes or so to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. This is still to come on Sunrise. New York Jets player Chris Boyd in critical condition this morning after he was shot outside a New York City restaurant yesterday. We'll have the latest in that story, plus more of your national headlines when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
In a major reversal, President Trump is encouraging House Republicans to vote on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The full House is set to vote this week on a petition to compel the Justice Department to release all documents it has in the case. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest for us from D.C.
As the House prepares for a vote this week aimed at forcing the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, President Trump changing course overnight, posting Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide. The president has long opposed the push that he's called a hoax by Democrats.
They're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
While also condemning Republicans who back the bill, including Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a longtime ally. She says she's faced threats after his recent criticism.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
The president, who was once friends with Epstein, denies any wrongdoing and has never been charged in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking crimes. now saying he does not care about the file's release and wants Republicans to get back on point, as the Republican and Democrat leading the charge in the House reject claims of partisanship and predict the vote will pass in a landslide.
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. What we're asking for is justice for those survivors. So it's not about Donald Trump.
Survivors of Epstein's abuse preparing to rally at the Capitol this week, urging lawmakers to remember their stories.
I would say, please remember that these are crimes that were committed against real humans.
Pushing to move past politics to accountability. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national headlines with your morning rush. The U.S. carried out another strike in international waters on what officials say was a drug trafficking boat. The U.S. Secretary of War confirmed the attack, which took place on Saturday, killing 3 people. This is the 21st military strike on alleged drug boats since President Trump started his second term in the White House. A New York Jets football player is in critical condition after he was shot outside a Manhattan restaurant early Sunday morning. 29-year-old Chris Boyd was shot in the stomach. NBC News sources say the bullet is lodged in his lung. So far, police have not made any arrests. All right, check out this next video from California. It shows a 30-foot tree that toppled onto a bus right there. Geez Louise. It also hit 2 other vehicles Friday night. Officials say heavy rain in the area caused that tree to fall over. Somehow, nobody was hurt. And that's a look at your morning rush. Hundreds of New Seasons workers in the Portland area are prepared to go on strike just a few days before Christmas. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz will bring us a live update on negotiations when Sunrise continues in just a few minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Monday morning drive. We start off with a little bit of trouble on the inbound Sunset, Highway 26. So the good news here, earlier crash in the tunnel just cleared. The bad news is obviously there's a residual delay. And right now we're stacked up pretty solidly out past Sylvan. The drive-in from Hillsborough has jumped up to 33 minutes at last check. I-5 from Clark County, slow and steady approaching the Interstate Bridge. Of course, we expect that this hour of a Monday morning drive. 20 minutes isn't bad to get you in from Main Street to I-405. Rod?
Well, wet roadways out there, but Chris reporting some of the drive times not bad. And look what's happening with the rain. Last hour, watch it, the green just kind of disappear, or at least break up. So we're in the fizzling stage of the rain that started yesterday morning. In fact, we have some breaks in the cloud cover from our Snook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City looking out to sea. Solid cloud deck over Portland. PDX reporting currently that it's not raining at that specific site, so I need to change that verbiage there. Mainly dry, still a lot of clouds at noon. Eventually today we'll get into some sun breaks and we'll open up a temperature of about 52 or 53. Mainly dry weather, by the way, the next 2 days.
Let's head a little east, shall we? Yeah. As we kick off the 7:30 half hour of the Sunrise Show on a Monday morning. This is our shot out in the Dalles. Some may say foggy out there. Some may say a low cloud deck. I leave those descriptions to the weatherman.
Well, that cloud deck is definitely lowered. It's been about 15 minutes since I've had eyes on this camera, and that's definitely fog now.
Okay.
Downtown, the Dalles. Yeah.
Officially foggy in the Dalles. China, what do we say to our viewers out there in the Dalles this morning?
Good morning. That's what they wanted to hear, I think.
Good morning to you, my friend.
All of you.
And you and you and you.
And every single one of you. We have a lot of news to get to. We'll get to your traffic in a second. Apparently there's some residual slowing. But we're going to get to residual. What was
the word that
I
should be
say?
stricken from the English
What was
language?
the word last week that I could not say?
Was,
there was one every week.
Auxiliary.
Auxiliary.
Yeah.
And foliage.
Oh, your foliage.
Yeah, I don't
and
go there.
meteorologist.
How do you spell that?
How do we do this, Shop?
I don't know.
It's so hard having to say all these English words.
Take the weather maps. Get us out of here. All right. Good morning. Half of an inch of rain, a little bit less in some areas, a little bit more in some areas since it started running up the I-5 corridor from south to north yesterday morning. The run is still south to north, but everything is now in the breakup stage. So we have a mix of some dry spots and some rain spots. Obviously still raining from this vantage point looking at our state capitol. Oh, look at this line of trees. Not too many leaves left. It's been such a beautiful fall down there. Here are the clouds over downtown Portland. Temperature in the Rose City setting at 49 degrees. The wind direction is now west-northwest. We do expect some increase in winds to like 10 to 20 miles per hour out into the gorge during the day today. Those winds now are still being reported as mainly light. So we still have raining in some areas, but not everywhere. Will be mainly dry. Could still be overcast at noon. Eventually today we'll look to break out of the clouds. We'll be in the low 50s. Not a bad Monday shaping up, Chris.
And honestly, the drive hasn't been as bad as I thought it might be yet this morning with the rain out there. Maybe it's because it's lightening up. Maybe folks got on the roads a little earlier. But in any event, we are now into the busiest part of our morning drive, and you can see the inbound Sunset still slow from an earlier crash in the tunnel. The crash is out of the way, but the drive in from Hillsborough now right around 30 minutes or so to get you in from Brookwood. Let's try that again. Brookwood Parkway. All right, back to the I-5 Clark County commute. That is also slow and steady across the Interstate Bridge, but not bad. 21 minutes gets you in from Main Street to I-405. Guys?
All right, thank you, Chris. Let's get to our news headlines here at 7:30. The Clark County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash that killed a motorcyclist over the weekend. This happened around 8 o'clock Saturday night. That's when a witness called saying that they had found the crashed motorcycle in Battleground. The rider was taken to the hospital where they later died. It doesn't appear that any other vehicles were involved.
Washington State Patrol is investigating a semi-crash that completely blocked northbound I-5 lanes in Cowlitz County. Officials say the driver left the road near Castle Rock, causing him to lose control of the semi before hitting a guardrail and rolling over. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. He was also charged with negligent driving. No other cars were involved in the crash.
Close to 700 New Seasons workers across the Portland area are looking at the possibility of a strike the week before Christmas.
If a deal isn't reached, the strike could start on December 17th. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live from downtown Portland. Thomas, what are workers looking for?
Well, guys, there's 5 proposals still left to negotiate. The big ones here is better wages, health care, and time off. Now, union workers tell us that they're pushing for wages for all starting employees to be at $20 an hour. They say that they also want wage increases every 6 months. They say that workers are not willing to take sub-inflation wages. New Seasons has countered, offering $18 as a starting wage. The company also wants to raise the threshold for who's eligible for health care. The two sides have been bargaining for close to 2 years now, since January of 2023. In a statement, New Seasons says, in part, "Our focus is on finding a fair resolution that supports our staff while ensuring we can continue serving our customers and communities. We believe the final offer on the table enables a fair and sustainable future. The union says that a deal for them must be reached by December 4th. They say if a deal isn't reached by then, they will strike just before Christmas, about a week before the holiday. Guys?
All right, Thomas Schultz with the latest on that story for us. Let's talk about some national headlines now. The Trump administration has filed an emergency motion against the judge's ruling that blocked National Guard deployment here to Portland. The U.S. Justice Department filed the motion with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, looking to reverse federal judge Karen Immergit's ruling back on November 7th. Now, her ruling found that President Trump exceeded his authority when he federalized Oregon National Guard members for deployment to Portland's ICE facility. Willamette University law professor Laura Appelman has more on what this emergency motion by the Trump administration means.
They filed an emergency motion to get the Ninth Circuit to stay or to put a hold on Judge Immergit's permanent injunction until the Ninth Circuit can hear that. So that's basically saying, hey, Ninth Circuit, we think this is so wrong and we are so likely to win on the ultimate merits that you should put it in an order saying, Judge Immergit, your permanent injunction is suspended until the Ninth Circuit or indeed the Supreme Court ultimately hears this issue.
Appelman says until the Ninth Circuit rules on this emergency motion, Judge Immergit's ruling will stay in place.
One restaurant in Aloha says business has dramatically dropped in the wake of increased immigration enforcement. Tapatio Mexican restaurant has been in business in Aloha since 2002. The owner says it's a popular spot for the local Hispanic community, adding that they've had a steady business until about 2 months ago.
A lot of guys from business like construction or landscapers, they come and have lunch with us here, and they watch the European leagues, like European soccer. But lately, they disappear. They are just afraid to come out.
The owner says other restaurants, particularly Mexican restaurants, are also seeing less business. However, he says he has not seen any immigration agents near his business.
The FAA is ending its flight reduction emergency order today. That means flights all across the U.S. will resume normal operations. Airports were forced to cut up to 6% of their flights to ease the strain during the government shutdown. On Friday, that reduction was rolled back to 3%. Again, today, it goes away altogether. The bill that Congress approved to reopen the government could delay a business, or deal, I should say, could deal a business blow to the local hemp industry. The bill included a provision to restrict hemp products that contain THC. Now, in 2018, Congress legalized the sale of hemp products, but that legalization also created a loophole that allowed some products to contain enough THC to get users high. Now, though, hemp products will be capped to 0.4 milligrams of THC per container. That is just a fraction of what is nearly all hemp products on the market today. Here's what one local hemp producer had to say about the change.
The plant, as it grows naturally, has a very, very small amount of THC. Most of it's been bred out of it, but it's there. What this legislation is asking us to do is eliminate all of it.
The change will take effect next year. It's important to note that the new regulations do not apply to marijuana products, which are regulated at the state level.
Your time now is 7:37. We're taking a live look from our Wells Fargo sky cam. A lot of different clouds out there. Rod Hill, I don't know what they're called. I'm not going to lie. I did in 7th grade.
Let's go with clouds.
Aced that. I know there's like a nimbus cirrus.
Cumulus.
Cumulus.
What do you call if you just look outside? And I think a lot of teachers used to word like sheet. Like it's just a solid sheet of clouds, meaning you can't even pick out any individual corners or nooks. It's just a solid cloud base. Begins with S.
So many clouds.
Stratus.
Stratus, yes. Yes.
Sorry.
Stratonimbus
Off me.
means it's raining.
Here's the answer.
My big story right now is that the rain, which started for a lot of us yesterday morning and really hadn't stopped, right, is now breaking up. And this has happened just in the past hour plus. So you can see it, still some showery weather, but look at everything kind of breaking up. So all of a sudden, we have as many spots here in the valley saying, I don't have rain at this second, as we do saying, yeah, we still have a little drip out there. Here's the Indian Creek Golf Course out in Hood River. They've had just a touch of shower activity. Winds haven't really picked up yet, but expecting a west wind for you folks in Hood River today, 10 to 20 miles per hour. You will get some partial clearing and hit 50 degrees for high temperature out there in the Hood River Valley as well. Here's a better look at kind of the wet concrete up in Kelso. This is Three Rivers Golf Course in the overcast morning, and there's the cloudiness that we just talked about. So like clearly you can see an edge right here, but really if you look over here, that's a solid sheet of cloud. That's a typical stratus cloud, which is a favorite of ours this time of the year with all of our gray days that we get. Temperatures are in the 40s. We have decreasing light rain showers in the area at this time. It's 42 in Silverton. That'd be the cool spot showing up. Foggy Bear is our KGW pet of the day. That is a beautiful cat. Look at that. I love the little paws right there. Really pretty. Pet of the day at kgw.com is the email address. Send us your pet's photo and name and they will become our pet of the day. All right, later today we are all dry. And statewide, coast, Newport 51, Baker City 53. Temperatures will be in the 50s. And generally we are looking for some partial clearing. And some of our coastal cameras are starting to show breaks in the cloud cover at this hour offshore. So I think it turns into a pretty nice Monday. I've got us 53. Mainly dry tomorrow. There's one little wrinkle that could pop a traceable rain shower. Otherwise, tomorrow's dry. Wednesday's fog to sun. And then we've got rain showers back on Thursday and Friday. And if nothing changes, this weekend could be dry. All right, here's Chris.
That'd be nice. All right, let's get you out the door and look at the roads. There's 4 cameras to look at this morning. We'll take you over to the west side. There's the Sunset out near Sylvan. Highway 26 inbound, a little extra slow right now. Because of an earlier crash in the tunnel. The crash cleared pretty quickly, but the drive time is still pretty thick. Right now, just shy of 30 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough. Just shy of 30 minutes to get you in from Troutdale and Wilsonville as well. Elsewhere, as we zip up to Clark County, the I-5 commute slow and steady across the interstate bridge as well. Right now, that is right around 24 minutes to get you in from Main Street to I-405. Heads up tonight, overnight tonight, I-5 south of town closes. This is a full closure of I-5, both directions, between the Markham Bridge and Terwilliger for sign bridge installation. This is the second in a series of closures that ODOT needs to do this overnight work. So during the closure, 11 o'clock tonight until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, the freeway will be a no-go. So Barbara Boulevard is going to be your traffic solution around that. China?
Thank you, Chris. Thanksgiving meal prices are on the rise. We'll tell you why coming up next. Plus, the once popular app Vine returning with a rebrand. That story plus more coming up in your consumer headlines when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
All right, Thanksgiving is 1 week from this Thursday. China, are you okay with me calling it Turkey Day? You like Turkey Day for Thanksgiving?
I do.
Okay, Turkey Day it is. Let's talk about the turkey, shall we? Because when you hit the grocery store this week, you'll probably notice some prices are up for key holiday staples. Jen Sullivan explains what's behind the price hike.
Outside the King Center in Atlanta, long lines of cars as people wait for free food to be handed out at this Thanksgiving food drive.
This is going to make a tremendous difference.
Miss Williams works part-time, but she says it's not enough to put food on her table. And it's not just Thanksgiving she worries about.
It's every day. It's tonight. I need dinner for tonight.
Her story is like so many others as the cost of food continues to rise.
We've seen an increased need. We've seen seniors coming that need assistance. We've seen families.
The government shutdown put a strain on already busy food banks, with millions of food stamp recipients not receiving assistance through the federally funded Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers not getting paid. But rising food costs are making groceries more expensive for everyone.
But for many families, they're still struggling to put food on their table and keep that roof over their heads.
Average grocery prices are up nearly 3% from last September, according to the latest Consumer Price Index report. Prices for key Thanksgiving staples like potatoes, meats, fresh vegetables, and bakery products are all up. And tariffs have caused the price of many imported items like wine to jump. One wine store says prices are 5 to 12% higher this year. There is some good news. On Friday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that retroactively lowered tariffs on beef, tomatoes, coffee, and bananas, as well as other products coming from agricultural imports. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Now for a look at your consumer headlines. We could see higher prices at the post office next year. The USPS Board of Governors has approved rate hikes for Priority Mails. Priority Mail Express, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select. Priority Mail would go up about 6.6% and Ground Advantage almost 8%. The Postal Service says the increases reflect market conditions and support the Postal Service's reform plan. Regular mailing rates, including first-class stamps, will not change. The short-form video app Vine has been revived, now rebranded as Divine. The new version brings back more than 100,000 original clips and bans AI-generated content by verifying that every upload comes from a real smartphone. Users can reclaim old accounts, post new videos, or request takedowns of past clips. Divine is now in beta testing on iOS and Android. And Starbucks is rolling out a new holiday drink, but you can only get it at Target. The frozen peppermint hot chocolate is sold exclusively at Starbucks cafes inside Target stores, with prices starting just under $6 for a grande. Target's paid loyalty members can get it on today. Everyone else can get it tomorrow. Most Targets do have a Starbucks, but this is the first time the company have teamed up for a holiday drink.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah. I did see something similar. There's a new burger available through Burger King, but you can only get it at Baxter Auto Parts.
That's bizarre. But I like to eat while I'm waiting for my auto parts to be rung up. I did something over the weekend, and I hadn't had this since I was probably 20 years old. It was so flippin' good. So we went, the Oregon Garden Resort, we do the stories every year where they have the Christmas holiday village all set up. They had a preview party over the weekend, and we went. It was really nice.
You went to that?
We went to that. We drove down Saturday night.
No one I know is going, so I'm not going to go. You were there.
We were there. So this one little booth had hot chocolate, and you get paid to have them add peppermint schnapps into the hot chocolate. Oh my flipping God, was that good.
And he's sold.
You sometimes will put the Kahlua in your coffee, right?
Yeah, I sometimes do that.
Not at work.
I like stuff in my hot drinks, apparently. Here's a look at our... Well, you know, when I was in college, we would, I was younger, you'd have a little, well, I can't tell schnapps drinking stories on the air, but in hot chocolate, it was really tasty. All right. We've got showers coming up south and north into the area. You can see everything's kind of broken up. The rain runs up to Seattle, but we're really seeing this fall apart. And understand, as you see the green just kind of break up into now we have scattered light showers moving south to north. This is the final wave. So once this completely ends in the coming hours, and there could be some misty spots kind of linger with the thick low cloud deck, but eventually, I think later this morning, that's all out of here. And I think we're probably still cloudy here in Portland at noon. This is 1 o'clock. We are starting to see some breaks in some of the clouds out to sea. Eventually today, while there is some mixed bag of some cloudiness, I like our chances of at least developing some sun breaks this afternoon. With the dry weather coming, all of a sudden this becomes a story. The fact that we've had all these mild nights. Go back to the last week, night after night, it was like 48, 50, 53, 54 degrees when you woke up. Starting tonight, we get back into more seasonally chilly nights. This particular model says Portland could get down to 39. Salem could get down to 36. And the chilliest night, if we have fairly clear conditions and light winds, would be Wednesday morning. Now this shows 37 Longview, 38 Portland, 36 Salem, 34 down Eugene. And I think it's possible some of the usual icebox spots, if you will, Wednesday morning could be close to 32 degrees. This shows 28 in Bend Wednesday morning, 35 in the Dow. So that's normal, but I just want to give you a heads up because it's been so crazy warm at night. The cloudiness we saw a moment ago is pretty widespread. In fact, there's been some light rain over in Sun River this morning as well. That's the resort camera over there looking on the gray side, but expected to become partly cloudy today. Still some wetness around our state capitol down in Salem, 48 degrees. Light rain showers being reported. There's the Chehalem Tasting Room out in Sherwood, 48. Not reporting rain right now, but you can see everything's on the wet side. And here are the mild temperatures. I mean, this is actually cooler than we've been lately. We'll be maybe a good 10 degrees cooler than these current temperatures in the upper 40s at this time tomorrow morning. So FYI on that. All right, Valley forecast numbers for today. Shows the cool 30s overnight tonight. Mainly dry before the noon hour. That's certainly on track. Same thing up in Southwest Washington with partial clearing expected. Low 50s today, the chilly 30s tonight. I've got Portland, 42 in the morning. Maybe it's going to be 40 or so. 38 Wednesday morning. Tomorrow there's at least a shower threat, but mainly dry. Wednesday's all dry, and then rain showers return on Thursday and Friday. And that's your forecast. Chris, the passes are wet. It's still in the 40s in places like Government Camp.
And good to see, as you mentioned, the rain lightening up or maybe even shutting off. And I think that's positively impacting the Mora commute. I honestly thought it would be worse than it is. But that said, we still have some slow spots out there. Highway 26 inbound. There you are at Sylvan, still kind of slow after an earlier crash in the tunnel. That's about 26 minutes now to get you in from Hillsborough. I-84 really tight, as always, coming in through the Gateway District. Right now it's about 32 minutes now from Troutdale to downtown, and we'll take a look at some of the other drive cameras here. This is south of town near Tualatin. We're obviously got some work to do to get in from the south this morning. That's I-5 at 205. All three lanes slow and go up past 217. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Chris.
But when someone's just boom, boom, taken from you like that, it's really hard to get your brain around.
Dealing with the loss of one of their founders. After the break, we're going to take you to Higgins in downtown Portland for more on the death of one of the men who helped build a longtime Portland favorite.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
A major loss for one of downtown Portland's best-known restaurants. Paul Mallory, one of the founders of Higgins on Southwest Broadway, died suddenly this past week.
Mallory founded the restaurant with his lifelong friend 32 years ago. KGW's Libby Dowsett has more on his legacy.
We're all going to miss him dearly. And when you know someone's having health problems, it's one thing. But when someone's just boom, boom, taken from you, like that, it's really hard to get your brain around. This is cranberry sauce in a big way.
Chef Greg Higgins says his crew is still stunned over the sudden death of 71-year-old Paul Mallory, his decades-long business partner and lifelong friend he met right here when Mallory was tending bar at what was then the Broadway Review.
And one day he just said, "What are you doing? You're working like a maniac. You know, are you going to do this your whole life?" And I said, "No, I'm thinking of opening a place." And that's how the conversation started. And so that was almost 40 years ago.
If you've been to Higgins, you've surely seen Mallory. He ran the front of house crew and greeted customers at the door.
You know, he's a very outgoing, funny guy, always wanting to talk sports or, you know, act up, pantomime some silly thing or whatever. And so that lightened things up and kept people doing their thing.
In recent years, Mallory scaled back his shift to a couple days a week, but was always there, even in the leanest of times, for his Higgins family and his own, including his daughter and son-in-law, who work at the restaurant and are now helping plan a massive company potluck to remember him.
He was a very family-oriented guy, lots of grandkids and kids and 2 sets of children. And, just a heart-wrencher for everybody.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Quick reminder this morning about our KGW Great Toy Drive. This week, a great week to give because our Toy Drive partners at Ziply Fiber are donating a portion of all new internet installations up to $5,000. We appreciate Ziply Fiber and that $5,000 gift. Of course, you can also help out yourself by donating a toy at one of these locations. New unwrapped toys can be dropped off at IQ Credit Union locations, Fred Meyer stores, or any local Toyota dealership.
KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus, and coming up at 8, a former Alaska Airlines pilot is set for sentencing today after admitting that he tried to cut a flight's engines mid-air after taking magic mushrooms.
Yeah, we're also covering a White House 180. President Trump says he's now behind the idea of releasing all files in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Those stories and more coming up in the 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise. We're going to start that for you here in just a couple of minutes.